In North Charleston this morning, one man is dead and a police officer has been charged with his murder. Now, all of this started after a simple traffic stop on Saturday, but things escalated and a police officer ended up opening fire, killing the man he just pulled over. Now, fast forward a couple of days later when a witness came forward with cell phone video of that day. Now, that video has changed this case. Now, Officer Michael Slager is charged with murder, the murder of Walter Scott. Here he is in bond court yesterday. He was denied bond. That's the video we were talking to you about, given to Scott's family. It shows Officer Slager apparently firing 8 shots at Scott as he runs away after being pulled over for a broken taillight. Now, we did choose not to show you the part where the 50-year-old falls to the ground after that 8th shot. Multiple agencies are investigating that shooting right now, including SLED and the FBI, along with the Justice Department. And while they're trying to figure out exactly what happened here, of course, a lot of people are angry right now. There's a protest that's been planned for 9:30 this morning already in the front of North Charleston City Hall. A lot of questions this morning. So right now we're joined by our friend Clairvaux along with Jimmy Wright. Now, Jimmy is a former police officer. He's also the president of the Columbia chapter of Concerned Black Men. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Britt. Thank you so much for that. You know, Jimmy, we're going to get straight to it. With you being a former police officer, give your reaction to how this case has been handled so far by the North Charleston Police.
I think it's been handled pretty good. From Saturday to today, you know, they jumped right on it. The mayor is involved with it, the police chief. They brought charges up on the officer. So, I mean, I think it's been handled pretty good.
And now, as a police officer, explain to us how officers are trained, because people are seeing this video and many are asking, why didn't the cop shoot him possibly in the leg, in the arm, somewhere else? Kind of explain, if someone is fleeing, what is the officer supposed to do at that point?
Well, I think every department has its own policies and procedures that they put in place. But I think this general from across the United States is that, you know, you shoot center mass, which is up top, okay, because that's the part that you can hit. You know, in a crisis situation, you know, it's kind of, we call that pucker factor. You know, you can miss a leg or you can miss an arm, and that means that bullet can stray off and hit someone else. So if you're shooting at someone, then you shoot center mass, and that's to stop and just to eliminate the threat.
All right. No, you've dealt with plenty of issues related to African American men across Columbia. You've even traveled to Washington. You've held discussions and trips. What goes through your mind as you see this cell phone video that was just released?
I see that things are still happening in our community. And the reason why I believe, and that we believe that things are still happening, is because there's no community involvement. You know, we'll watch these things happen, whether it be with youth or black men or whatever the case may be. It'll happen for about maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, and then it dies down. Okay, there's no plan. And if it is a plan, we operate in silos, so therefore there's no togetherness to where we come together and we try to work together to have cultural diversity trainings, crisis preventions, you know, something on the level, from a professional level with police officers or law enforcement in general, and then on the community side, what can the community do to maintain itself, as well as how to hold people in the community or law enforcement accountable.
Gotcha. We're going to get back in touch on that question really quick. You know, on the other side, some people will look at this and some people will say, all right, Walter Scott, why didn't he stop? Why did he run away from the cop? If he just stopped, would we be here today?
Well, we don't know. But what I can say is that, you know, if he did not appear to be a threat, that means that he didn't have a weapon on him, then there was no need for you to draw your weapon to do the same. If not, to tase him or anything like that. If he was fleeing, then you tase him. You know, if that's a possibility. But just mere fact, you know, a radio, you know, you can call for help. Say that I have a suspect fleeing the scene, does not appear to be, you know, violent or does not have a weapon on him. But you know, that way, you know, people know how to respond to that particular type of situation. But if he didn't have a weapon on him, then there was no need for you to draw your weapon and shoot him.
Well, you know, really quick, going back to the community involvement here in Columbia, after the recent events that happened, you know, with Michael Brown, we had Trayvon Martin, we also had Eric Garner from New York.
Right.
There have been many racial conversations, dialogues with the Columbia Police Department, with Richland County Sheriff's Department.
Right.
Do you believe that's what kind of has helped Columbia kind of not have to deal with this type of situation at home?
In some cases, yes. I have a lot of friends that are law enforcement officers, from the Sheriff's Department to the Police Department, and some that used to be with SLED. And I think that we've had unity in the community that is incorporative of law enforcement. We have the My Brother's Keeper initiative that the mayor is putting on this Saturday at the State House, that law enforcement is a part of that as well. So we're trying to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the communities in general with organizations so that we can show some type of solidarity with organizations, government, as well as community.
Okay. And if I have a question, Jimmy, what's your take on police cameras? You being a former police officer,
yes.
Many cities now want to adopt mandatory cameras for all officers, including South Carolina. There's talks about that. What's your reaction really quick?
I think it's great. I think that that would be a step in the right direction. And not only with law enforcement, but we also have armed security officers as well in our grocery stores. So that's another thing that we have to contend with as well. You know, so what type of sensitivity trainings do we give to anyone that's in a professional organization that's supposed to be serve and protect? Then make sure that everybody is trained in some type of culture diversity or sensitivity training towards people in general.
All right, Jimmy Wright, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
We do appreciate it.
Yes.
Former police officer out in North Carolina.
Yes.
North Carolina, and
That's
also
right.
the president of the Columbia chapter of Concerned Black Men. Stay with us. There's more Good Day Columbia coming up right after the break.